Welcome back. It is Organic Chef. What's going on, everybody? So, what's up? Are we eating healthy? Are we cooking? Come on now. Don't be lying to me. Okay, so today we're going to do a vegetable cake, also known as a vegan crab cake. So, this recipe I did previously working behind the scenes in a culinary team with a show that I was a part of, and I made this recipe my own in addition to have already done the recipe testing. So I added some things that I am familiar with of what I do and how I cook, you know, to make things a little bit more healthy at home and to make it vegan friendly. So come on, let's talk about these ingredients. So I've got some panko breadcrumbs, which you can also get the gluten-free panko as well. So you can have this to be a gluten-free dish. Along with that, I also have I've got some fresh almond flour that I made in my deluxe cooking blender. But you can purchase this at basically any grocery store nowadays. I've got some cornmeal, of which I can also blend in my deluxe cooking blender. I'm making things from scratch at home. It's authentic, it's natural, it's keeping things fresh, right? So to that, I also got some flax meal. Flax meal we're going to be using today because I'm using this as an egg replacer. You can also buy egg replacer that they sell in the stores. But I'm here to tell you there's other items that you can use at home without having to buy egg replacer for a lot of recipes, especially baking. I'm here to tell you that I've made a lot of vegan recipes without using any egg replacer. That's right. Stay with me, y'all. Come on. So in here, I've also got some Dijon mustard and a little bit of horseradish because I love the pop that the horseradish gives. So this is what I'm looking for in this recipe. You can also use a dry mustard. I've also used dry Indian mustard in this recipe as well. Here I've got some roasted seaweed. This is gonna give us that seafood flavor that you're looking for in your vegan or vegetable crab cake. Next to that, I got some coconut amino acids. This is gonna give a little bit of umami flavor. It's gonna add a little bit of sodium. So if you'll see throughout this recipe, because I've got the roasted seaweed and I've got my organic coconut amino acids, I'm really not gonna use any other salt in this recipe. And here I have a little bit of spice and season mixtures. Here I have Old Bay seasoning, and I'm not going to use plain. It's just to give you that pop of that familiarity of having that crab cake. That's it. Like I said, I don't want to use a lot of salt in this recipe. Fresh lemon for some lemon juice, shallot, and we've got some hearts of palm. So we also have some artichoke hearts. So with this recipe, using the hearts of palm and the artichoke hearts, it'll give you that flaky fluffiness that you usually see in a traditional crab cake, that you get those little lumps and things like that. This is what's gonna give you that comparison. And always fresh herbs, so you don't have to worry about that. We'll talk about that later. So come on back and let's make this vegetable cake. Vegan crab cake. Come on back, it's Organic Chef. So we're back. And for right now, I'm starting with a shallot, which I have on my cutting board, as you can see here. And I'm just going to cut off the ends. Okay, so I got a shallot here. We're just gonna chop it. I just like to add a little bit of flavor. I like the mild flavor that shallots give. So I'm just chopping it with a little chiffonade. Another thing I like about shallots, depending on the size of them, You know, you can get a quick dice on because it's already small and it gives you those nice brunoise or, you know, small dice cuts already. So I enjoy that. So I have a bowl over here and I'm going to put it in the bowl. So that's just about 1 shallot. Bring my bowl over here. So basically we're going to pretty much add all the ingredients except for the flax meal. The flax meal we're going to do separately so you can see how I combine and mix it, you know, as far as the process. But ordinarily you could just throw everything in there with your flax meal and it'll hold together. But I just want to show you the process so you can see it for yourself. Okay, so right now we're going to start combining ingredients. You have to make sure, most importantly, that you've drained your artichoke hearts and your palms, because you don't want a wet batter. You want it to be completely dry. So you have to think like in terms of when you're doing your fish, right? You make sure you pat it dry, right? You know, so the water doesn't hit the oil and splash and splatter all over the place, you know, and start popping. So make sure you do that. I've done the liberty of doing that already, so you don't have to worry about that. So that's why I'm telling you about this process, so you can't skip it. So I have about 15 ounces of palms and about 15 ounces of artichokes. And basically, it's getting in with your hands. It's getting in with your hands. I can basically chop it, but I will show you how soft and meek and mild it is. So I'm just going to take it apart with my hands. And that's it. So you will see the inside of the palm, and then you have the outside. This is what I'm telling you that resembles and reminds me of a crab cake. So to those pieces, I will do a little bit smaller. So if you got a lot of frustration, anger, or need to work it out, this is a good recipe where you can work it out. So now I'm doing about 2 at a time. What I also like about this recipe is that you're infusing, at least for me, ingredients that I don't eat on a regular basis. I might throw hearts of palm in a salad occasionally. I have some salad recipes that I have done with hearts of palm, but this is not something that I eat on a regular basis. So I enjoy this recipe because it allows me, you know, to take part in eating vegetables. When you truly live a healthy, you know, whole food lifestyle, you should be partaking in everything that vegetables have to offer, and eat your veggies, you know what I mean? Don't just stick to the ones that are familiar to you. You gotta step outside your comfort zone and start trying other vegetables, because the great thing about vegetables and whole foods, a lot of vitamins, a lot of minerals, calcium, protein. Yeah, that's right. I'm also gonna use some moringa in my recipe today. And moringa is one of the most famous, I would say, superfoods for plants. It's got all the vitamins and minerals in it. It's got calcium, more calcium than milk. Also, you know that it's fortified. In 100 grams of moringa, you have more iron than you get from spinach. So it's a great superfood, and I found some in the farmer's market this weekend. That's the powder form. Now, fresh is best for me, so I always buy the fresh form. But I found the powder form, and the powder form, I believe I got more bang for my buck there, and I got a larger quantity. In addition to that, I'm able to incorporate that in almost everything that I use, you know, as far as nutrition in meals, smoothies, soups. I even added it to my water this morning. It gave me a great pick-me-up before I did my jog. So I'm gonna rinse my hands really quickly so I can show you the texture that resembles the crab cake. So as you can see, this is like the resemblance of your traditional crab cake, right? So all I did was do it with my hands. If you want to be fancy smancy and you don't want to get your hands dirty, you can certainly chop it up, and then as it gets incorporated, it will break down. But I want to show you firsthand the process so you can see it step by step. So next we're going to start adding in our other dry ingredients. So to that, I'm only going to cut back. I'm going to cut back right now. I'm going to use half because sometimes you don't need as much, sometimes you need more. So I'm only going to use part of my almond flour for right now. And if I feel it's too loose and too wet, I can always add some more later. Remember, the almond flour makes this recipe gluten-free. Using gluten-free panko also makes this recipe gluten-free. However, if you have a nut allergy, you'll have to go with not using the almond flour, using a gluten-free base flour, chickpea flour, just for an example. And I'm only using part of my panko, sorry. So here is nutritional yeast. I like it because again, there's a lot of nutritional value in it. You get your vitamin B6, vitamin B12, and it gives a nice nutty flavor. So I tend to use this in almost every recipe, even recipes that I have that aren't vegan, because I'm infusing more nutritional value. So for this, I'm gonna put about a teaspoon of nutritional yeast. And don't forget to get that nice crab cake texture, we got some yellow cornmeal. Again, I'm gonna hold back on that just a little bit. So these are our dry ingredients. So these are our dry ingredients. Next, we're going to incorporate our flax meal. So for the flax meal, to give that egg replacer, here is 2 tablespoons of flax meal. So the ratio per egg is 1 tablespoon of flax meal and then 3 tablespoons of water. So I double that because I want 2 eggs. So I've got 2 tablespoons of flax meal, and then I'm gonna follow that up with 6 tablespoons of water. Did you get that? So the ratio is 1 to 3 per egg. Stay with me. So I'm eyeballing it. Don't be like me, you can measure it. But you'll see the consistency that you're gonna get. Okay, so I'm gonna take my whisk so you can see. Egg replacer, flax meal, water, 1 to 3 ratio. Okay, so now I will add in my wet ingredients into my eggs. So just like I would treat like any dry to liquid measuring for baking and adding things together, I do the same thing for my cooking. So this is our horseradish and our Dijon mustard. I'll use my spreader here. And I'll just use this to mix it. So the last but not least, I have my roasted seaweed to add to this mixture. So you can see. Loving it, loving it. Okay, and we've got our moringa. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of this. So this is 1 teaspoon. This is what it looks like. Kind of looks like your matcha green powder, right? Tea powder. So I'm gonna read something really, really quick. So in 100 grams of moringa, it's leaf powder, it's 27% protein. Look what I just did. And a lot of people always think if you're not eating meat or if you're not eating fish that you cannot get protein. You have to find other sources than what's commonly known or what's traditional or what we're conditioned for. So there's so many. This has 10 times the amount of vitamin A that of carrots. It has half the times more of vitamin C than oranges. It has 7 times more calcium than milk. It has 15 times more potassium than bananas, 25 more times iron than spinach, and it has 9 times more protein than yogurt. See? Gotta try new things. You gotta branch out. So I'm gonna show you what our pretty bowl looks like with all the flavors in here and all the colors, how pretty it is. So to this mixture, I'm gonna add my wet mixture here. So you can see that it's starting to break down. You're starting to see the texture is very meaty. Now I'm using my spreader and spoon here, but here in the kitchen you must be versatile. You gotta use what you got to get what you want. Okay, so to that I'm gonna add some roasted seaweed. And you don't want too many pieces. You can also grind this up ahead of time. But like I said, today we're working with our hands. So you just want that seafood texture and flavor. And as I can see right now, my batter is a little dry, and that's fine. We know what to do. We'll just add a little bit more moisture, right? So since I still have some of the bottom with flax meal and water, I'm just gonna add a little bit more water. Swirl it around so it gets all the funky flaxseed meal around the sides. Boom. Now I want to get in and I want to feel the texture of my crab cake. So I've already started heating up my pan. I'm gonna add some grapeseed oil to it. If you have coconut oil, olive oil works just fine. So you want to fill the bottom of your pan because this is a shallow fry. So we fill the bottom of our pan up. Lemon juice. You should smell it. It smells just like a crab cake, I swear. That seaweed just puts everything over the top. Again, so this is gonna add a little bit more moisture. See, a lot of people may cut open the lemon vertically. I do mine horizontally so I can catch the seeds, as I squeeze. So as you see, I squeezed it. So now the seeds are coming up to the top of the surface, but they're also staying in my hand. Quick tips, organic chef, stick with me. So this is gonna add some more moisture. See the seeds coming out? Okay, so now we're gonna get down and dirty. Move some things to the side. I'm gonna put a little bit of the seasoning that we spoke about earlier. So this is our Old Bay seasoning and a little bit of Tony Chachere's, I can't say that word, Creole seasoning. This gonna give us our crab cake. Tastes like the crab cake, but it's not crab cake, it's the vegetable cake. Stick with me. All right, so let's get down and dirty here. Hands on deck, all hands. So now I'm getting my hands in here. So as I do that, it's starting to break down. It smells great. It smells fantastic. And another thing that I like about using a vegan recipe, because there are no eggs in it, you get to taste the raw product. Yeah. So, you know, important as a chef and being your chef at home and cooking for your family, you know, you're tasting it as you go. So at this point, it's the right consistency of what I want to see happen for this crab cake. It is perfect. It is perfect. So I want to taste it to see if I needed to put any extra seasoning in it, maybe salt. I shouldn't have to, but you never know. So it's always very, very important to taste as you go. So let's do that. So I want a little piece that has a seaweed in it, a little bit of the palm, and I want a little bit of the artichoke just so I can see the flavor. And I got a little bit of onion here. Damn. This right here? Wow. Vegan what? This is the bomb. So coming up, we're gonna wait for our pan to get heated up. I'm gonna start forming, and then while we're cooking, we'll make a remoulade. That's right, we'll make a remoulade. So come on back. What? I can't hear you. You can't wait? It's Organic Chef. Holla at your girl. I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back. So I've got some crab cakes formed for you. We're just doing some minis. You can do these any size you want. You can do it in regular size crab cakes. But for demonstration purposes, we're just doing the mini ones. So I'll show you very quickly how I made it because my pan is ready. It's ready. We don't want it to start burning and burn our nice little vegetable crab cakes here. So what I've done is I've taken about a quarter a cup. You can do a half a cup if you want a regular size crab cake. And basically it's just like making hamburgers or any type of plant-based burger. And I'm just rounding it with my middle finger and my thumb. So if you see, by me rounding it, it's creating a nice rim for me. That's nice, tall, and high. And then I just press down on it. And there you go. Symmetry. That's it. Okay, so let's test out the waters here. She's smoking and she's ready. So you don't want to overcrowd your pan too much. So I just got 4 here and we're good enough. So you want to do it just like a regular crab cake, but even so, you're not cooking it as long because vegetables you can't eat raw. They don't have to be totally cooked. It all depends on the texture that you're looking for. But let's take a look and I'll show you what it looks like. Here go our crab cakes. As you can see, this is the perfect temperature. You want it about 350, no more than 360. Use a high smoke point oil. We're using grapeseed oil, so it's fine. You can also use coconut oil or olive oil. You know, just stick to your healthy oils if you can. Veggie crab cake. Get at you, girl. Look at them cakes. Look at them cakes. Okay, so I'm gonna use my fish spatula. You can use whatever you have at home. We're gonna turn it over so you can see that nice crust. Careful to splash back. You want to do it away from you. Ooh, look at that one. That's nice. Maybe on the edges. Okay. So about 2 minutes on the other side. Crab cake's done. Let's get that remoulade popping. Okay, so let's get that remoulade popping, right? So quickly, I've got half a cup of Vegenaise, your vegan style mayonnaise. I have a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, some red Thai chili sauce. Oh, we taking it up a notch. We're gonna do it a little different. So here we go. Remoulade, done. Let's pick this one, put this one here. Popping, it's popping. Okay, again, let's get some lemon juice in here. Let's taste it. That's good, y'all. You should smell it. These veggie cakes smell so good. You would have thought it was crab cakes. I ain't lying. I ain't gonna lie to you. So, remoulade dressing is done. Now, this is a quick, easy recipe that I did with the vegetarian or vegan remoulade, but you can also make a larger quantity of it. Just multiply my quantities by 1, 2, or half time, depending on how much you want to make. This made about a half a cup of remoulade sauce. So obviously you need to make a lot more if you want to make more than just a half a cup. I only did it for demonstration purposes, but the flavor's great. On and popping. Let's look at these crab cakes. Oh my goodness. Another thing I like about using this recipe is that most times you can't even use the same sheet pan because it was raw, because you had raw products such as fish or eggs. Nah, son, with this, I can still use the same sheet pan. Holler at your girl. No cross-contamination. They are so pretty. So pretty. They smell fantastic. So this one is fine. It's cooking now. It's gonna cook a little bit longer than the other. I'll smash it down just a little bit because all the other ones are in there and the temperature changed the oil, so I gotta wait for it to come back up a little bit, but that's okay. In the meantime, we can plate. Let's plate up. You know how I do. Let's plate up. Okay, so we're plating up. I just got a small plate because we did mini veggie cakes, right? So the leftover seaweed, waste nothing. You know, if you like sushi, you get your rolls and your nori and all that on, you can still do that. I like to eat roasted seaweed just as a snack when I'm chilling at home. So, goes on the plate. It's edible. Okay? All right, so let's get our crab cakes popping. And this one is just about done. Nice. Put that one on top. Turn off the stove because we're on and popping. So to that I will add my remoulade sauce, right? So remember what we use for the remoulade, and this is an easy recipe that you can too also make at home. Remoulade done. Bad bowl. And then I always like to spruce it up with a little bit of greenery. So for that, I've got some cilantro and I got some parsley here. Veggie cakes, your vegan crab cake that tastes phenomenal. Y'all don't know what you're doing. You don't know. So, let's taste it, right? Let's taste it. A little warm. I'm gonna take just a little bit here off the side. Just want to show you, it resembles your traditional quote unquote crab cake without having crab. Oh my God. This is outstanding. Outstanding. The remoulade just hitting right. You got the crunch from the panko and your cornmeal, so it gives you that nice texture that you want if you want to have that crunch. It's nice and soft on the inside, like your traditional crab cake. It's not overcooked. It's perfect. This was sure to please any crowd, any day. Inviting guests, having a small party, whatever it is. This is a great item to add to your meal. Crowd pleaser, I can guarantee you. Great flavor. So Organic Chef, thank you for joining in with us today. I hope you've learned something today about healthy cooking. Maybe, introducing yourself to some more vegan items and some more vegan ingredients and vegetarian options out here. We've talked about gluten-free, and the sky's the limit on how healthy you want to be. So continue taking it up a notch. But more importantly, keep cooking. Get cooking, y'all. This is Organic Chef. Thank you so much for joining me. And see you soon on the next set. Holla at your girl, Organic Chef. I'm out.